Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, CSN Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open a 4-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays. And this afternoon, just before the trade deadline, the Astros traded several players. Right-handed pitcher Jared Cozart, a 9-game winner, and Kike Hernandez, who have been playing a lot of center field, to the Miami Marlins this afternoon. It was a big package of players. They said their goodbyes to their Houston teammates, and they're headed off now to Miami to join the Marlins in this somewhat surprising trade right before the deadline today. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby, along with Julia Morales. She'll have more reaction in just a moment to this multiplayer deal. And the Astros, of course, did not want to part with the players that they did trade to Miami, but they got an exciting young package in return, Ash.
Well, they did. And the two guys that leave, really, and Jared Cozart and Kike Hernandez, you're losing guys, quality already on the major league level. Jared Cozart, a 9-game winner, and it hasn't been his very best season to this point. But Jared Cozart has great stuff, and a guy that was acquired from the Phillies, part of that Hunter Pence trade, a guy that looked like he could have been one of the keystones of the future. Kike Hernandez came in, I think, has surprised a lot of people, played a fine center field. He's also shown he can play other positions. So the Astros do lose some major league talent with this deal.
They also traded AAA outfielder Austin Waits in the deal, and we take a look at the newcomers. Jake Marisnick, an outfielder.
Jake Marisnick can go get it in center field. He's a very good outfielder and likely fits in as the left fielder. But you see, he also has some pop. He drives a long home run in a big ballpark in Miami. He hasn't done a whole lot in terms of major league opportunities offensively, but defensively, he can go get it. And he'll lay out a lot of speed. Jake Marisnick, a guy, again, that figures to be the left fielder once he comes to the club, and that should be tomorrow night. Colin Moran, a minor leaguer that was drafted 6th overall last year, a guy the Astros acknowledged they even considered for the #1 pick last year. So now they feel they've gotten Appel and Moran by making this deal, and they feel very good about the future possibilities at third base.
So a lot to consider, and certainly for those Astros teammates, they were asked many questions today. Julia Morales was down in the Astros clubhouse as it all unfolded. We go to Julia now.
Thank you very much, Brownie. Yeah, a shocked clubhouse today as they found out that 2 of their teammates would be headed to Miami, especially with Jared Cozart being around for as long as he had been. Even though he's been in the big leagues about a year, he had felt to be one of the veteran guys in that clubhouse. Kike Hernandez as well, a good clubhouse guy, and saying goodbye to these 2 guys was tough. Cozart finding out as he was getting ready for his start that he was supposed to make. He found out in the clubhouse, so did Kike, and everything quickly changed. Very mixed emotions for Cozart as he chatted with us for a bit, just leaving his hometown team, a team that he grew up playing for, and now will be headed to Miami, while Kike very excited about the opportunity in Miami as his family is all from Puerto Rico. He calls Miami his second home, but is very sad to leave Carlos Corporon, his best friend. Other players, though, understand this is a business, and we're saying that they are behind Luno and what he's doing. They believe this will make them a better team in the future. I'll send it back up to you guys for more.
Thanks, Julia. Well, Jared Cozart was to have started tonight's game against Toronto. Now the emergency starter, so to speak, will be Jake Buchanan.
Jake Buchanan recently worked out of the bullpen and worked very effectively. Buchanan hit the hill against the Miami Marlins, as it would turn out, and had 4 strikeouts in a brief appearance, 2 1/3 innings. Did not allow a run in that game, and I thought that was kind of a turnaround moment in a very young career at this point. Jake Buchanan showing he can strike out hitters.
Coming up, starting over. Now that the deadline has passed and Jared Cozart has hopped a plane to Miami, the resurgent Astros rotation finds itself scrambling in the short term for a 5th starter. Who are the candidates and who gets the start tonight? It's the first pitch moments away. is presented by Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box for the new Jalapeno Ranch or BBQ Ultimate Cheeseburgers at participating restaurants. Coming up, in flight, the Astros just vanquished the best team in baseball. Now they face off against the hottest team in the bigs. Two of the top long ball teams in the majors will be letting it fly at Minute Maid Park tonight. Which one will power their way to a series opening win? Ash and I will have all the action when we come back. On this long Houston homestand, a homestand that began with a 3-game sweep by the Miami Marlins, and then the Astros rebounded to take 2 of 3 from first place Oakland. Now a Toronto club bringing a challenge with a 5-game winning streak, 10 wins in the last 12 games for the Jays. They're on a 10-game road trip of their own, and they're 5-1. They went 2-1 at Yankee Stadium and swept the Boston Red Sox in a 3-game series. The lineup cards are being exchanged now at home plate, and these two teams have really relied on the long ball. Toronto #1 in the American League, Houston #3.
Chris Carter on that great month of July has had terrific numbers with the home run and also batting average. But yeah, the other guys are supplying the long ball. Matt Dominguez, John Singleton, Oppo the last couple of times for Singleton. The Astros win when they hit home runs, 36-29, but the Toronto Blue Jays lead the league in home runs. Jose Bautista, Joey Bats will hit his share and then some. Melky Cabrera's had a great season. These guys can slam the baseball even without Edwin Encarnacion, who was probably all world at the time he went out with a pulled muscle. Toronto Blue Jays play the long ball with the best of them now in Major League Baseball, and the Blue Jays rank first in home runs, first in slugging percentage. The Astros, with home runs, they're third in the league, so they'll surprise a lot of people in that regard. Chris Carter, the big figure there, showing the long ball. Wait till George Springer gets back. Slugging percentage 8 for the Astros. So maybe the long ball tonight plays the difference between these two teams.
By the way, George hoping to be back in a few days. He is really working his way back from that quad injury now as the Astros take the field. They, of course, are playing a man short tonight, and Jared Cozart has left the scene. He was to have been the starting pitcher tonight, and not necessarily in that sense, but in the sense of the bench. They're a man short. They take their long man out of the bullpen, Jake Buchanan, to make his second Major League start tonight. And last time out in relief, he pitched very effectively against Miami 4 days ago. 2 1/3 innings of scoreless baseball. Buchanan got his first Major League start when he was promoted in that series at Tampa Bay, June 21st. He lost that game, giving up 5 runs in 4 1/3 innings. And now he will go at it for the second time against a high-powered lineup. We take a look at what he's done so far in 5 games as a major leaguer, 1-1 with a 5.56.
He's a North Carolina boy, 24 years of age. And there are the numbers. Left-hand hitters in brief experience now in the major leagues doing well, hitting .360. Right-handers have had their struggles, all balancing out to a figure just under the 300 mark. 14 hits in 11 1/3 innings. You tack on the walks, and you're going to wind up with a whip that's up over 1.5 runners per inning. So Jake Buchanan obviously needs to whittle away on those numbers.
Here's the lineup he'll be facing tonight for the Blue Jays, who are just 2.5 games out in the AL East. Jose Reyes is the leadoff man and shortstop. It's Melky Cabrera. He is second in the American League in hits, playing left field. Jose Bautista is in right field. The catcher, Diana Navarro, is the cleanup man. It's Juan Francisco at first base, Danny Valencia at third, Nolan Reimold the DH, Ryan Goins at second base, Anthony Gose in center field.
Defensively, as we look at the Houston Astros here this evening in the outfield, and it's changing day by day. Mark Krause in left, Robbie Grossman is your center fielder. 4th start in center this year, and LJ Hosen right on the infield left side. Matt Dominguez and Gregorio Petit on the right side. Jose Altuve and John Singleton, and behind the plate, Jason Castro.
Now Buchanan looks in as the switch-hitting Reyes steps up. Reyes, the 31-year-old shortstop from the Dominican Republic, a real speed merchant, brings in the corner infielders. He bounces one and past a diving Altuve, smacked the first pitch of the night for a single to right field for Reyes.
Now, Jake Buchanan simply is not overpowering. He relies on a good sinker and the breaking pitches to go with it. And keeping the ball on the ground is what he wants. Obviously, Reyes able to find the hole.
Reyes has 19 steals in 20 attempts this season. And he is a big-time base stealer who has been over 60 in a season 3 times in his career. Melky Cabrera, .313, 5th best in the American League, 14 homers, 59 runs batted in, is having quite a season. He is second in hits to Jose Altuve. He has 139 hits, and he scored 69 runs. He's 5th in runs scored. Reyes with 444 steals is 3rd on the active list. There's ball 1. Cabrera, who had such a fine season with the San Francisco Giants, and then he moved along to Toronto after he was caught on a drug test and served a 50-game suspension. Hits a ground ball, rolled to Altuve's right. There's the toss. Gregorio Petit, the middleman, on a 4-6-3 double play.
So you take your chances with the ground ball. A couple of ground balls already hit, one for a base hit, one for the double play, and Jake Buchanan right where he wants to be. Nice little slide step to cut the running game down. Beautifully started by Altuve.
That's helpful for Buchanan because now the slugger Jose Bautista comes up with 2 outs, nobody on. He was originally the DH tonight, then there was a lineup change, and he is now the right fielder, hitting .293 with 20 homers, 61 runs batted in. A .415 on base average. The top figure in the American League, and there's ball 1 into him. Bautista has hit well over 200 homers, in fact 231 for his major league career. There's a tentative swing, and he fouls the slider for a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Nice change of speeds.
Bautista certainly a key man, but that 1-2 punch of Bautista and the man you mentioned earlier, Edwin Encarnacion, is tough to beat. It's grounded wide of third base. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Blue Jays right in the thick of things. They are currently holding down what would be the second wild card playoff spot if the season were to end today. And John Gibbons' club, John, a native of San Antonio, MacArthur High School graduate, looking good, but did not make a trade today. And many were surprised that they did not. 2-2 the count.
We don't have to go back too far when Jose Bautista was leading the American League in home runs, and with huge years, 54 and 43 back-to-back.
He sends this one high and toward the seats at left field. Bautista has struck. That's home run number 21, and it's 1-0 Toronto. 62 runs batted in for Bautista.
don't know if Bautista was dialed in on me talking about his long ball game, but he's been among the very best in Major League Baseball. Injuries have curtailed some of the numbers, but there's the hanger, and he didn't miss a lot of it.
It's 131 long balls for the Jays this year. He's had 5 straight seasons of at least 20 home runs. Deoner Navarro's the batter. He gets a first pitch breaking ball. There's strike 1 to a 272 hitter with 7 homers, 45 runs batted in. Blue Jays 1-2 of 3 from the Astros in Toronto on the Astros' first road trip of the year. One hopper. Petit takes care of the third out. 1 run, 2 hits, nobody left. Toronto 1. Houston coming up. Struck first. It's 1-0 with the Astros coming up with this lineup, and it's brought to you by Jack in the Box. Cole Porter, as I mentioned, shorthanded tonight after the trade, goes with second baseman Jose Altuve, Robbie Grossman in center field, Chris Carter the DH, Jason Castro the catcher, Mark Krause in left, John Singleton at first, Matt Dominguez at third, L.J. Hose in right, Gregorio Petit the shortstop.
On the mound for the Blue Jays, 23-year-old right-hander Drew Hutchison. 7-9 on the year, 4.44 the ERA. Pitched well his last time out, that at New York against the Yankees in a win, 6 2/3 innings, allowing just a couple of earnings. Previous 2 starts to that, though, he really struggled against the Red Sox and at Tampa Bay. 6 earnings in brief innings in those 2 starts.
Jose Altuve gets it rolling, and he has been rolling with the league's best batting average of .342. With 151 hits to lead the league, 4 homers, 33 runs batted in for Altuve. Currently on a 12-game hitting streak. Taking strike 1. During that 12-game streak, he has hit .396. Hutchison making his 22nd start. With a fly ball to right field, Bautista puts it away, 1 out.
Defensively for the Toronto Blue Jays, will start it in the outfield. Left to right, Melky Cabrera. Anthony goes, he can go get it. And Jose Bautista on the infield. Left side, Danny Valencia. Jose Reyes at shortstop. Ryan Goins has not committed an error at second base. Juan Francisco is at first. And Deoner Navarro behind the plate.
Robbie Grossman steps up. Robbie is in center field with the trade of Kike Hernandez, who had been manning center field. There's strike 1. Grossman at 195 has 4 homers. He's driven in 18. 271 since his latest recall from AAA Oklahoma City. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Grossman. The Astros fired out with a 6-run first in yesterday's game and beat Oakland 8-1. Fouled away, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. As the trades came rolling in today, and there were many, this was one of the most active final days before the trade deadline a lot of people could remember. Astros went right down to the wire before they made that deal with Miami. So the clubhouse was reacting to the news of this multiplayer trade between Houston and Miami. And with that, Jeff Luhnow will be on to explain things a little bit later. Third inning with us. Cozart was scratched as the starter. And Kike Hernandez was taken out of the mix to play center field. So players reacted to what was a late lineup card today. Who was going to be the starting pitcher? Buchanan. Who was going to be in the outfield? Grossman in center. Dallas Keuchel pitched a complete game yesterday. Fly ball out to shallow center field, and that will be looping in for a hit in front of Ghost. 1-out single for Grossman.
Well, the Astros got off with a few thumbers early yesterday, and they started that way today. Robbie Grossman with the high heat. They came a couple of times up there, and just off the hands, drops it into center field. Nice way to get it started.
He's aboard for Chris Carter, who's been on a rampage in the month of July. Just an outstanding month. 212, 21 homers, 49 runs batted in, 8 homers, 19 runs batted in this month for Carter. Carter takes it. It's strike one from Hutchison, who's 23 years old, from Lakeland, Florida. A 15th round draft choice of the Blue Jays in 2009. He had Tommy John surgery in August of 2012 and worked his way back with some minor league starts last year. Carter takes with the shift on, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Chris. Chris was 2 for 12 in the series in Toronto with an RBI. He hit a home run in the series against Oakland. And the Astros really had some good swings in that series against the A's pitching. There's a liner to left field. Coming in, Cabrera. Cabrera's there for the catch. 2 outs. And it'll be Jason Castro following.
This line drive not exactly stroked to left field. A little on the hands for Chris Carter. Melky Cabrera, who's had issues defensively in recent years, able to come on and make the play.
Jason Castro at 227 with 10 homers has driven in 40. Hitting much better, 271 in the month of July. Castro was 3 for 11 with a home run in the Oakland series. Well, the Tigers made the big deal for David Price today from the Tampa Bay Rays. It was a part of a 3-team trade with Seattle. Fly ball out to left center field. Ghost with the play to end the first for Houston. No runs, a hit, and a man left. 1-0 Blue Jays.
1-0. We move to the top of the second. It's time for you to tweet your photos using hashtag CSNHFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast that is brought to you by AT&T. The Houston Astros will meet their new teammate, if not tonight, if he makes it in, but tomorrow. The outfielder Jake Marisnick is coming into town and will be in the lineup tomorrow for the Houston Astros. And these guys don't know a lot about him, but Tarek Brock does. The first base coach is standing right in front of me. He actually knows him better than most. He's worked with him while he was in Miami and got a chance to just tell us a little bit about him, but went on and on about his athleticism, how athletic he was, and how he was a great defender, a center fielder who could play in right, has the arm to play in right field if needed, and of course in left if that's the case when some guys get healthy and off the DL. But we'll know more tomorrow, guys.
Thanks, Julia. There was a conference call and you were busy, but I hopped onto it and listened to some of Jake Marisnick's remarks. He's in New Orleans right now, and he will be here tomorrow morning, he said. Over. And probably in the lineup tomorrow night, we would expect. Juan Francisco, the first baseman, leads it off in the second. Ground ball, the only player over there on the left side of the infield, Matt Dominguez, takes care of out number one on one pitch for Buchanan. Buchanan can be a ground ball pitcher. Got the double play ball in the first and then the ground out on Navarro, and now Francisco hits the ball down low. Valencia comes up next. Danny coming to Toronto in the trade from the Kansas City Royals. 277, 2 homers, 11 runs batted in. The injured Brett Laurie unable to play third right now. He broke his right index finger back in June. That is off the plate, ball one to Valencia. So Toronto, looking for help, made this deal. It's not as if the Blue Jays have not made deals during the season. They just didn't make one today. Of course, you know, almost every team in contention is supposed to make a deal, right? On the final day. That's the way it's viewed by some.
Well, I think the Tigers, as you mentioned, getting David Price made the big deal for me today.
Well, that's a huge one, and a lot of people had assumed that no one would be willing to pay Tampa Bay's price. Detroit paid it and got Seattle in on the deal. So Austin Jackson, the Tigers center fielder, heads for Seattle. The Rays get lefty Drew Smiley and Nick Franklin. The line shot into left field. That'll go to the wall. It'll kick off that wall and be played by Mark Krause. Then into second base. The throw is offline. It's a double for Valencia. Hit number 3 for the Jays. So we take a look at this starting rotation for Detroit. Verlander, Price, and Scherzer have won the last 3 Cy Young awards. How about that for a playoff rotation?
Well, and then there's Anibal Sanchez, who won an ERA title, but last year or the year before, very recently. So 12-game winner. Rick Porcello is your 5th pitcher. That is some kind of rotation.
Big time. And the Red Sox traded John Lester and Johnny Gomes to the A's for Yoenis Cespedes. Nolan Reimold with strike one. Reimold is DHing tonight, formerly with the Baltimore Orioles. Reimold hit only 195 last year for Baltimore. He is 4 for 13. Just activated from the disabled list on Sunday. He went to Bowling Green University. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. He was another acquisition the Blue Jays have made in recent days, so it's not as if they haven't made moves. They just had made their moves already prior to this deadline day.
I find that Lester deal with Cespedes going the other way to be maybe the most intriguing deal on the day. That one that made me flinch, because yes, Lester can make a big difference in that rotation for the Oakland A's, who are already really good in that regard, but I think they lose an awful lot in having that bat of Cespedes depart and go to Boston.
They had the top offense in the league. That's a strikeout looking. Reimold retired. First strikeout for Buchanan. 2 outs. Now they have a fine playoff rotation. Adding Lester to that group, Sonny Gray and Scott Kazmir. They just really have a strong bunch. Ryan Goins is the batter with a runner at second and 2 outs now. 215 for Ryan, 1 homer. 8 runs batted in for the native of Round Rock, Texas, who went to Dallas Baptist. 25 years old.
They say he's driving the baseball.
That's ball one. Anthony Gose on deck. Well, last year he had 2 homers and 119 at bats. Been known as that good glove man you talked about. Airless baseball this season. So that would be a bonus if he does drive the baseball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Have you heard a timetable on the return of Encarnacion?
They're talking still down the line. 2-3 weeks, maybe at best. They were told it was a grade 1 or 2 quad strain, but there are some who believe he just flat tore the muscle.
1 and 2. That's a tough loss for them.
Well, he was as good a power hitter in the game as anybody was putting up early on this year, and then they lose him from the lineup, and they still lead the league in home runs.
They lead in total bases. They lead in on base average. They're 3rd in runs scored. Fine offensive club. That bounces up there. Good play by Castro. 2 and 2. But the Astros starting pitching certainly deserves a lot of credit. The way it worked to the top offensive team in the American League. The Oakland A's, who lead the majors in runs scored, and it was Brett Oberholzer in game 1 of that series, then Scott Feldman, and then Dallas Keuchel, all with quality starts for Brent Strom's pitching staff as they won 2 of 3. They pounded the strike zone.
You know, and you look at the makeup of the Toronto Blue Jays with the big sluggers, Encarnacion and Jose Bautista, a couple of cast-offs, really, that were resurrected by the Blue Jays. So you never know when you're actually picking up that guy that's going to be the huge difference maker in the future.
Jake Buchanan from Charlotte, North Carolina, went to North Carolina State, a teammate of Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson there. An 8th round pick of the Astros in the 2010 draft. There's a shot into left field. Valencia comes home. Here's a throw from Mark Krause to the plate. Castro comes up and will not make a throw into second. It's 2-0 on an RBI single by Goins. He continues to second on the throw to the plate.
You must hit the cutoff man, and every time you miss him, the opposition should take 90 feet, and the Blue Jays do right here. It was presented for the Astros to get an out if the cutoff man were hit here, but Mark Krause's throw is just simply uncuttable for Matt Dominguez. Pretty hitting. But right here it goes wrong. Yeah, you want to get the guy at the plate, but you have to throw it through the cutoff man.
2 runs on 4 hits now for the Jays. And it's Anthony Gose batting next. Gose is an outstanding defender. Since he was called up the most recent time from the minors, he's been on base in 10 of 13 games. Big cut there, and it's strike 1 to Gose, who's just 23 years old. He was Houston property. He had been drafted in the 2nd round by the Phillies in 08. The Astros picked him up in the Roy Oswalt trade from the Phillies, but then they flipped him immediately for Brett Wallace. That's how he got to Toronto. Rolled out slowly to Altuve. On over to Singleton. It's 1 run, 2 hits, 1 man left, 2-0 Toronto.
Sure to check out In-Game Live over at csnhouston.com for all the stats you need that go beyond the box score. You can also vote for Player of the Game. Your top choice is shown on TV afterwards on Astros Post-Game Live. All right, this is kind of a big day, trade deadline day, and of course, the Astros gave up a couple of pieces, Jared Cosart and Kike Hernandez. So we're asking you, how much will you miss both Cosart and Kike Hernandez? We're looking for favorite memories. Tweet me, HoChenCSN, and explain yourself, because I'm reading the best tweets on TV. Guys?
Thanks, Howard. Now Mark Krause leads it off. It's 2-0 Toronto, bottom of the second. Ball one from Drew Hutchison to Krause, a 185 hitter with 5 homers, 17 runs batted in. Krause was 1 for 11 in the Oakland series. That hit was a home run into the second deck in right field. It's 2 balls, no strikes to Mark. Hutchison is fresh off a 3-2 win at Yankee Stadium, in which he allowed 2 runs in 6 2/3 innings, throwing 89 pitches. Fastball is foul back. High 80s fastball. He's almost 2 years removed from his Tommy John surgery. That's grounded wide of first base past T. Brock for a 1-ball, 1-strike count. And let's see some more deals today. Ash, the Cardinals traded for John Lackey with Boston, as well as a minor league pitcher, Corey Luttrell. St. Louis gave up right-handed pitcher Joe Kelly and Alan Craig in the deal.
Boston Red Sox have just cast it to the breeze.
Really, yeah. That's a foul ball back into the seats. Yeah, the Red Sox made about 4 major deals here.
I guess if you're going to lose, go ahead and lose all the way. John Lester really the key guy in that deal. John Lackey going on to the Cardinals. And in both cases, those are good pitchers rather, moving on to the other ball clubs. John Lester clearly the big guy there.
Anthony Gose lopes over to right center field. He handles out number 1. Off the bat of Mark Krause. A reminder now, as you enjoy a cold one, to look for Miller Time later in tonight's game. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. Yeah, the Red Sox made a rare trade with the Yankees today. Red Sox trading shortstop Stephen Drew to the Yankees for Kelly Johnson. And we understand that with Derek Jeter, of course, planted at shortstop. Drew will not be the shortstop, but will play second base. John Singleton at 174 has gone deep 8 times. He's driven in 26. That's ball 1.
If I'm Drew Hutchison right there, I'm thinking, where on earth did that pitch miss?
Yeah.
But you go through that a lot as a starting or as a pitcher. You deliver a number of pitches that seem to be right there, but no call forthcoming.
The 4th trade the Red Sox made was to deal lefty reliever Andrew Miller to Baltimore for prospect lefty pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez. So they really shook up their clubhouse. High drive, soaring to right field for John Singleton, and the Astros get a long ball. 2-1, and Singleton delivers number 9. The last couple he had hit went to left field. This time he turned on one. And it's 2-2 games for John Singleton.
Got to a point with John where it looked like fastballs were just being blown by him. But suddenly, a couple of home runs to left field. Now gets a fastball up and crushes it to right field. Very different looking hitter all of a sudden. A guy that I think we've been anticipating all along.
Now Matt Dominguez takes a strike. 13 homers, 45 runs batted in, a .231 batting average for Matt. He hit a home run in the Oakland series. Singleton now with 9 as the most homers by an Astro rookie first baseman since Jeff Bagwell hit 14 back in 1991. Glenn Davis has the rookie record, and that was 19 homers in his rookie season, 1985 with the Astros. Glenn will be here Saturday night as a part of the Astros legends, signing autographs prior to the game. Domingo takes it upstairs, and it's 1-2. Braves traded with the Cubs. The Braves got lefty reliever James Russell and second baseman Emilio Bonifacio. Dominguez puts it in the air. The right fielder Bautista goes back for it on the warning track. 2 down. The Cubs got cash and a catching prospect, Victor Caratini. And you had the big Marlins Astros deal. Yankees also got Martin Prado from the Diamondbacks. Arizona received catching prospect Peter O'Brien. Washington Nationals made a deal with Cleveland. Asdrubal Cabrera going from Cleveland to Washington for Zach Walters. L.J. Hose looks at ball one. He was part of a deadline deal himself with Baltimore, coming to Houston in the Bud Norris trade. L.J. fouls it. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to a 170 hitter with 3 homers, 11 runs batted in.
I don't know if the Indians still felt like they had a chance to win in that American League Central, but it looks, at least with the deals today, like somebody up above doesn't believe they can win.
Well, they traded Justin Masterson yesterday to St. Louis and Asdrubal Cabrera today. And they did not receive anybody in return who figures to help them out materially this season.
Yeah, in the clubhouse, that would not be perceived as management going out and trying to help in the endeavor to win this year.
The Mariners got a hitter, Kristen Norfia from San Diego for Abraham Almonte on a pitcher. Grounder slowly hit. It's picked up by Danny Valencia and turned into out number 3. After 2, it's 2-1 on the John Singleton homer for the Astros. Third, General Manager Jeff Luhnow joining us here in the booth. And Jeff, you had said a few days ago you would like to get a hitter in a deal, but then you were saying earlier tonight that the percentages of making a deal as of this morning you didn't feel were that high.
Well, there wasn't a lot of activity as an industry yesterday, so I thought it was going to be a slow day, but things really picked up in the afternoon, and we'd been working with the Marlins on this for a couple of days, and it really intensified towards the end of today, towards the deadline, and we were able to get something done just in the nick of time.
Jared Cozart is a fine young pitcher. You probably didn't set out to trade him, but you sit back and wait for the offers, right?
I think that's right. I mean, we looked at what our strengths are and where we need to get better. And really, we had an excess of pitching, and we felt like this is an area that a lot of clubs need. This is the time of year they need it, and they're willing to offer a lot for it. And we took advantage of that situation and really, I think, made our club better, not just for the rest of this season, but definitely for next year and beyond.
Jeff, at what point in that deal did you feel like, oh, you know what, I think we've got something here?
It really was about an hour to go, and I think we had been going back and forth and stuff, and when they tried to include Kike Hernandez, we had some problems with that. We expanded the deal a little bit more, got what we wanted, and you know, got it over the finish line at the end.
Was Marisnik your original target in talks?
We had talked to them about both Marisnick and Moran, and we knew that we might have to add a little bit to Kozar to get that done because they're two premium prospects. And so we were spending a lot of today trying to figure out who that piece was going to be. They brought up Kike. We said no way. And they kept going back to Kike. And so we expanded the deal a little bit more, got another prospect, and figured, okay, this is enough.
Did you sense that the Marlins sweep here had more to do with their desire to acquire some players?
No question. I mean, they were here. They saw what Kike was capable of doing. They saw what Kozart's capable of doing. So that was an important weekend for them in scouting our guys. And you know, they knew they were getting two quality major league players, and we knew we were getting quite a lot of value in return. When
you're giving up players of that caliber on the big league level and getting minor leaguers and a guy that now in Marisnick is going to come to the big leagues, talk about how difficult that challenge is as you consider allowing those guys to get away.
Well, I think you know, we're going to replace Kozart in the rotation probably with Peacock. So I think our team is going to hold serve this year in terms of the rotation. We've had trouble in the outfield, and Marisnick, we believe, is ready right now to come up and help us play every day. He's a plus defensive center fielder. He's got a good bat. He hits for power. And, you know, when we have Fowler, Springer, and Marisnick all healthy, it's going to be a heck of an outfield. There's not going to be a lot of balls dropping in out there.
And on the conference call, he said he'd be quite willing to play anywhere out there. So essentially you have three center fielders playing three outfield positions.
It gives a lot of flexibility to the manager, and it really helps you know, give a guy a day off here and there. And quite frankly, Presley is also a center fielder, so all four guys are going to be able to do that. And Grossman's in center today. You know, it gives the manager a lot of flexibility.
Bautista with a 1-1 count. And the ground ball right there where he shifted. Altuve. We have more to ask. So, Jeff, do you have another half inning to give us?
I sure do.
We'll be right back with the score 2-1 Blue Jays.
Astros, Dynamo, Rockets, and more. We've got all your Houston sports news covered with Sportsnet Central. Weeknights at 6:10 and midnight only on Comcast Sportsnet. Let's kick it back up to the booth. We have a special guest.
Thanks, Julia. With Jeff Luhnow talking about today's big trade with the Astros and the Miami Marlins. And now Jake Marisnick will be here tomorrow night. And at some point, Colin Moran. And Colin's getting a promotion to Double-A now. He'll head for Corpus Christi.
He is. He was hitting about 300 in the Florida State League. That is a pitcher's league and a pitcher's park. I know it very well. I used to be there. And he's going to do well in Corpus Christi. We think he's ready for that promotion. Going to be playing third base every day. And, you know, got Mark Appel and Colin Moran, two top guys from the draft last year, playing on the same team there. It's going to be exciting.
Moran was somebody you considered in the draft when you took Mark Appel, correct?
We did. He was one of our very few finalists, and we seriously considered taking him. We decided to go with Mark Appel, but who knew that 13 months later we'd have them both on the same team in the minor leagues. I'm excited. Colin Moran is going to be a hitter. He's going to be a very good hitter at the big leagues. A lot of people comp him to Robin Ventura, and that would be a good outcome for us.
So if you get that kind of guy with the bat at third base, how is he with the 11?
He's an average defender. He's got a good arm. He moves around well. and really, should be able to be the whole package there. And it's exciting, and it's the reason we considered him first in the draft last year. He's done nothing to disappoint. He was out for about a month with an injury early this year, but he's back and hitting, and he's going to be a doubles machine and good defender, and he's going to take a lot of walks. He's going to be very productive, probably like a number 3 hitter.
Diving Reyes cannot stop the hit by Gregorio Petit. Leading it off here in the home third inning for the Astros. Well, you've got 3/4 of the North Carolina infield in the system now, right?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I tell you what, North Carolina does a heck of a job with their players. We've also got Kent Emanuel from last year's draft, who's one of our starters in Lancaster. It's really one of the top-notch programs in all of Division I, and we'd be happy to continue to get more players from that program.
Mark Appel went out last night and pitched well at Double-A. His first start now at Double-A. What kind of reports did you guys get, and what are you thinking?
Well, I watched it on the video, but Enos Cabell was there, and he called me after the start, and Dyer Miller gave me a report this morning. We were very pleased. He had made some of the adjustments. He made his last start, and he came here to work with Brent Strom on a couple things, and took those into the game, and it looked good. We were impressed. His fastball was crisp. His secondary stuff was good. And he didn't seem intimidated at all by moving up a level. So I think that's his new home, and hopefully he'll have a great rest of the season. I really look forward to it.
Jose Altuve batting for the second time. He had a fly ball to right. Yeah, and Mark, of course, got this chance to come back home for just even a few hours, maybe, refocus a little bit, work with Brent. And apparently that situation just really played into his effort last night.
I think so. I mean, first of all, Brent Strom had worked with him some during spring training, and Brent's able to see things that not a lot of people are able to see with the naked eye, and he's also able to communicate things in a really effective way. So it was an important piece of it for us, and hopefully the next time Brent sees Mark will be. First of all, Mark works out here during the off season, so this is his home. But during spring training next year, and I think if Mark has a good second half this year in Corpus, he's going to put himself in a position where he's going to be competing for a spot on the major league team in spring training.
You made a point, we were talking a couple of weeks ago about the difference between a pitcher going to Double-A Corpus Christi. There are more tools to work with there as far as videotape and things of that nature, right, than at A-ball?
No question about it. We have a lot of technology there that enable us to give more feedback to the pitching coaches as well as to the players themselves. And it's also, kind of our home stadium. We own the Corpus Christi Hooks, and so there's a lot of benefits to players being there. They're treated really well. It's first-class operation, and we have all the technology and tools to help them improve. So it's a great place for us.
We've heard about the names that starting the year in the minor leagues that you, I think we've got a Bach here involved on this one, a little bit of a quick pitch from Hutchison, but some of the guys, the big name guys in the minor leagues we've heard a lot about, guys that have made some advances this year that we may not have heard a lot about, that you guys are highly impressed with.
I think there's two guys in Lancaster that have both put themselves firmly in our top 10 prospect list for third parties and internally as well. One is Josh Hader, the left-handed pitcher we got last year on this day from Baltimore, and he's just been absolutely electric. And the other one is Rio Ruiz, the player we got in the draft 2 years ago. He's really blossoming into an offensive and defensive third baseman type. He's only 20 years old, and so we're gonna have these guys stacked up at almost every position. We got them at third, short, second. Got some guys at first base having a good year. A lot of outfielders from this year's draft. Good catching depth. So we feel very good after today about the depth of position players in our system.
And also that compensation draft choice you got in the deal from Miami.
Very important for us.
Gross in right center, tracks it down.
We took a compensation pick last year in the deal with Baltimore, and we were able to turn that into a very good player who's currently in Tri-Cities for us, having a great season. And we don't know who this person is we're going to take next year, but we're excited about having that pick. And at this point, with the pick that we're going to get for not signing Aiken, with our own pick, and then with the compensation pick, we're going to have a lot of flexibility and the opportunity to invest a lot of money in next year's draft, and should be able to get a great haul out of it.
So would that make it 3 of the top 31 picks then?
I think the third one will be 32 or 33, but it'll be 3 and certainly in the top 35. Okay. But more importantly, the pool money that we're going to have access to is going to be enormous, and we're going to be able to really do a lot of damage in that draft.
Bobby Grossman trying to drive in this tying run. Looked at ball 1. Chris Carter on deck. It's 1-1. And the big league club with that series win over Oakland, the hard-hitting A's. Pitching staff looked good. It was a difficult ninth inning in game 2, but nonetheless the starting pitchers are very strong, those three.
They did a nice job, and we came a half an inning away from sweeping the Oakland A's, and we had our 2 best relievers out there in that ninth inning, and that's going to happen. You really can't second guess what you do there. But I'm liking what's going on right now. I think guys like like Grossman and Krause and Hose, they got an opportunity to play a little bit now while the other guys are on the DL. Those guys are mending. They'll be back soon. But our pitching staff is holding it together. Our bullpen's been solid, and I think we're going to continue to compete night in and night out the rest of the year. I'd be really happy if we could be a 500 club the rest of the year and end up with something like 65 to 70 wins. I think that would be a real big signal that we're moving in the right direction. And our farm system is absolutely loaded. We loaded it up more today. We're going to be in really good shape going into next year.
Looking at shortstop on the minor league level, we know about Carlos Correa and the injury and the surgery, and I'm curious, number one, about how all that is coming along with him, and Jonathan Villar. A lot put on him early.
This should tie the ball game. To keep coming to the plate, the throw is not there in time. It's skipped by the catcher. They would have had him had he been able to make the play, and it's 2-2. Well, they had a play, but that throw handcuffed Navarro a little bit, and Grossman moves into second on it.
Just another nice job by Robbie. He got jammed and got a base hit his first at bat. This one he puts right on the barrel as he drills it up the middle. Anthony Gose, if there's one thing he does beyond just pure speed extremely well, it's the throwing side of the game. He has a very strong throwing arm. Hasn't hit the way a lot of people would hope at this point, but good base running as that throw was probably uncuttable. And we were talking earlier about when you get that throw that's not cuttable in the infield, you've got to take the extra 90 feet. The Astros do it right here and wind up with a man in scoring position. And a nice slide there at the plate by Petit to score that tying run. But back at Jonathan Villar and Carlos Correa, how those guys are coming along.
Jonathan's doing a nice job. He got hurt a little bit, missed a little time when he went down to AAA, but he's doing a nice job. I talked to Tony about him the other day. I think he's a guy that we wouldn't hesitate to bring back, and he will spend a large part of the second half back here. Carlos Correa is healing well. He broke his ankle, and he's now at the point where he's doing some rehab in the pool. He's putting some weight on his ankle. The doctor says both of his checkups have gone phenomenally well, so we're excited about that. I don't think there's going to be any problems with Carlos. We're going to get him ready, resume baseball activity sometime this fall, probably not playing games, and just focus on getting ready for spring training.
This fellow has really come alive in the last month, Jeff.
He really has. It's been a great month, and I think we're gonna look up at the end of the year, and Chris Carter's going to have close to 30 home runs and pretty decent on base percentage, and I think that's the player we thought we were getting in the trade 2 years ago, and he can help us. He really does a lot of damage, and he's a serious threat.
How much attention did Chris Carter draw in the phone calls that happened over the last week or so?
We did get some inquiries on him. I think our feeling was, though, that to take a big bat like that out of the lineup, we needed to make sure that we'd have something to replace it, and so it didn't really work out that way. But Chris Carter's still early in his career, and I think there's going to be a year, whether it's next year or the year after that, where he hits 250 with 35 bombs and 120 ribbies, and he's going to be getting consideration for MVP and All-Star and that sort of stuff. So we want to make sure we don't give him up and watch that happen for another club.
Carter's down on strikes. That is number 2 in the out department this inning. Yeah, that would have been something you did not want to regret. Trading a guy who's just figured it out, right?
Exactly. And, he had a hot month of July, and I think he's going to continue it in August. And, he's a difference maker. Clubs have to watch out when they're pitching to him, and he can change the game with one swing.
Jason Castro, he hit a fly ball to center in the first inning.
For a lot of fans, and for all of us, I think to some extent, this game can draw knee-jerk reactions. How tough is it as a GM to back off and say, give it time to breathe?
It's probably the toughest thing that a GM has to do, because we have to take the long view, but we have to also be sensitive to the fact that there's a lot of people who really want immediate satisfaction, the fans, the staff, the players, and so you're constantly balancing short-term with long-term. And there's also an element of just being patient, because we know that fluctuations are going to occur in players' performances, and you can't overreact to 2 good weeks or 2 bad weeks. You really have to stick with what you know about the player and what your scouts tell you, because normally, you know, they do go back to their skill level, and guys that are playing over their head come back, and guys that are underperforming get better, and you have to be patient for that. You know, every once in a while a guy will change his skill level, and you have a different player, but you have to have good enough scouts to recognize that.
2-0 to Castro.
What's our update on George Springer right now?
He's, you know, I think he could come back really shortly. The question is, you know, when he runs hard, really that's where we potentially have a risk of a setback. And so he's been hitting, and he's been doing all the exercise that he needs to do. He's going to be ready to come back as soon as the trainers tell us that he's okay to run 100%. I think that's the day we're going to activate him, and hopefully soon.
I'm sorry. Is it more the knee or the quad?
It's the quad. The knee's fine. Really, the reason we put him on the DL was the quad. We didn't want him to run out a ground ball and end up hurting himself where he'd miss more significant time.
3-1 now. Dexter Fowler also trying to get back. Alex Presley. Those are 2 difficult injuries those 2 guys have, Jeff.
Well, we seem to have quite a few of these oblique type injuries, and they're nagging, and they don't seem that severe at first, but they can keep you out for, I mean, you know, Bass was out for a while, and Fowler's been out for a while now. And we really need these guys back. I think, you know, Presley was playing every day and playing really well when he got hurt, and Fowler's been a big part of his team and a big part of what we plan to do. And Springer, obviously, you know, our superstar, and so those 3 guys being out is, you know, it's been hard, but I'm glad that Robbie and Mark and the other guys have stepped up and seized the opportunity.
We'll take you back to the minor league level real quickly. Mike Foltynewicz, where does he stand right now?
He's been a starter all year.
Deep drive to left field. Castro with a bid. Melky Cabrera backs off the wall, and that'll get the go-ahead run home. 3-2 on an opposite field RBI double by Castro. Almost reached the seats there, Jeff.
That was close. It was almost a Crawford box home run.
That's his 17th double, 41st run batted in for Castro.
Starting to put it together, and he's starting to handle that fastball out over the plate and drive it again to left field. Big strength early last year. They started to pitch him in. He showed that he could be quick and get to it. But kind of getting back to square one again here by handling the fastball away.
Now the Astros have grabbed the lead with Mark Krause looking for more. 17 doubles for Castro. Krause hit a fly ball in the 2nd inning. Boy, the depth of this organization has really been tested with all these injuries this year.
With respect to Foltynewicz, he's been a starter all year.
There's another run scoring, and it's 4-2 on the RBI single by Krause. Good karma from Jeff Luhnow up here.
I think every time I talk about Folty, we score a run, so let's keep doing it.
I was going to say, somebody doesn't want you talking about Foltynewicz.
Our thinking is the rest of the year, we may put him in the bullpen, and we may give him a chance to come up here and show us what he's got, because he's getting up in innings-wise to a point where we feel pretty good about the bulk this year. So I don't know when exactly that's going to happen, but I think we're excited to challenge him a little bit. I still think he's ultimately a starter for us, and that's where his most value is. But I think towards the end of this year, we'll back off on the innings and give him an opportunity to pitch, and hopefully that'll be up here.
Arm strength, though, still says high-end guy.
Oh, well, no question about it. I mean, you got a starter who can touch 97, 98 in the 8th inning. Those guys don't grow on trees. You know, a lot of guys can throw hard for 1 inning. He can throw hard for 9 innings, and he's got secondary stuff that's really advancing quickly. So, to me, that's top of the rotation starter profile. Clearly, he could always be in the bullpen and just throw gas and get guys out.
Todd Redmond in the Toronto bullpen working. John Singleton takes a stride. Singleton turned on that pitch back in the 2nd inning. He seems to be getting a pretty good feel with those 2 Oppo home runs he hit the last week or so, Jeff.
I do think so, and I know our hitting coaches are working hard on him. They're very pleased with what they've seen here, especially in the last week.
1-1.
I've heard this game can be tough on the big league level. Never experienced that myself. But Domingo Santana, he's gone back down to the minor leagues. What's he experiencing now?
I talked to Tony about Domingo, and I think he was a little bit in shell shock after he came back. And it took him about a week and a half to 2 weeks to really sort of pop out of it. But he's starting to regain his stroke, and I think he's learning from his experience up here. And Domingo's a premium prospect. He's going to be a legitimate big leaguer with a lot of power. You know, it was probably a good experience for him to see that and realize that he's got some things to work on. He's so young that, you know, he's got time. But I'm as excited about him as I ever have been.
There's a drive to right field. That's hooking. And a foul ball.
You know, Big John has hit the fastball for his last 3 home runs. And like you said, Brownie, a couple of left field on pitches away. Turns on one up in the strike zone, maybe out of the strike zone here this evening. Here he gets a slider. Stays back with the hands and then just lets it fly at that last moment. Although he could have waited an extra beat, it's impressive to see this start to happen.
For me, it's all confidence. I mean, I'm noticing it not only at the plate with him, but also around the bag at first base. You know, he was a little nervous at first and making a few careless errors, but he really seems to be pulling it together.
Good karma for Jeff Luhnow with us. Jeff, you have a 4-2 lead after 3.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.
Over the Blue Jays, we move to the 4th. Tomorrow through Sunday is Legends Weekend at Minute Maid Park as the Astros host the Blue Jays. Tomorrow night, 10,000 fans will receive a Lance Berkman bobblehead, courtesy of Houston Methodist. For tickets, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Guys.
Big weekend coming up. Lance and Roy bobbleheads, Andy Pettitte jersey. Deanna Navarro looks at strike 1. Now this game has turned after the Astros got 3 on 4 hits there in the 3rd inning. Jake Buchanan with a 4-2 lead. He got 3 ground ball outs in the 3rd inning. Navarro hits a little dribbler back to him. He's racking up the ground ball outs tonight. That is his strong point. That's 9 ground ball outs.
Well, you would figure if Jake Buchanan's going to have a solid night on the mound as a starter, he better get a lot of ground balls, and watching Dallas Keuchel would help in that regard.
Well, maybe he decided to have this different outfield alignment, get some time off. Krause, Grossman, and Hose. Just keep it all on the infield. He's had 9 ground ball outs and a strikeout of the 10 outs he's had.
It's obvious that Jeff Luhnow feels very optimistic about the defensive setup for the outfield in times to come for the club.
Juan Francisco, the batter. And there's ball 1. Grounded to 3rd in the 2nd inning. The shift on. It's on again. On these shifts this year, Stats Incorporated, John DeWan had a stat that they're costing left-handed hitters 30 points on the batting average on balls they hit on the ground when the shift is on. 1 ball, 1 strike, so you're seeing more and more of it. And there's There's one right there to Altuve. Now he might have had that one anyway without the shift being on, but that ball was absolutely blistered. He fielded it on one hop in shallow right field.
You're right. This ball is scorched and also might have been handled just a straight up routine defensive alignment. And that's what I often wonder about is how are these plays evaluated? They're not informing me nightly, I can assure you that. But yeah, I mean it's in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
Yeah. Well, for instance, had he been at normal depth, does he have to short hop that ball? Does he catch it on the fly?
I think he just pulls it out of his chest when he's getting back up off the ground.
Strike to Valencia. He doubled and scored in the second inning rather. Jake Buchanan in a nice groove here. Breaking pitch makes it 0-2. Buchanan was 6-4 at Oklahoma City with a 3.54 ERA. And the first time he came up, it was because Brad Peacock had food poisoning. The Astros needed a starter, and he got that start in Tampa Bay. He lost it. There's a swing, and Valencia's down on strike. Second strikeout for Buchanan. He's now retired 7 in a row with a 4-2 Astros lead.
Lead the Blue Jays being from Toronto. And if you don't know a lot about the food that they have up in Canada, you're not alone, because I don't really either. But the people at Minute Maid Park are helping us out. Chef Dominic Susi joins me now with a little twist on some poutine, as you would call it. What you got for everyone this week?
We basically did a little twist on the Canadian dish poutine, and we kind of made a little Tex-Mex flair with it. So we put our nice little chipotle gravy on there, some burgundy mushrooms, pico de gallo, some shredded cheddar cheese, and topped it with some green onions. So it's Canadian food with our Tex-Mex twist on it.
How different is it from what they eat in Canada?
Well, in Canada, what they will have is they'll just have a regular, not really a bland brown gravy, but not as spicy of a brown gravy, and they'll put cheese curds or something like that on top of it. So we obviously don't eat a lot of cheese curds down here in Texas, so we decided to kind of put our flair on it so it'd be good for our fans as well.
Where can fans get this right now?
At Street Eat stand in the main food court or on the bistro on the club level.
Around 124. Go visit, get you some Texas poutine, guys. Look appetizing for you?
It does. Everything does to us. You know that, Julie. Especially when Chef Dominic is involved. And we always welcome his visits, don't we, Ash?
Well, you know I do. I'm never going to shun when the chef comes in.
Well, the chef has come in from the bullpen for the Blue Jays. He is Todd Redmond in this case, in relief of Drew Hutchison. That was his first pitch, a strike to Matt Dominguez. Second pitch is hit in the air out to left field and caught by Melky Cabrera on the warning track. One out for Todd Redmond. Drew Hutchison in 3 innings allowed the Astros 6 hits, 4 runs with no walks, striking out 2.
Melky Cabrera looked like a left fielder waiting to meet the wall at any moment on this fly ball. 117 whip, so he's been effective in that regard. Just 15 walks in 56 and a third innings.
Well, he's currently riding a career high 16 scoreless inning streak. That's the longest streak of any Toronto reliever this year. There's strike one to L.J. Hose, who grounded out in the second inning. Yeah, L.J. a year ago on trade deadline day, the Astros were in Baltimore and they made the deal for Bud Norris, and those two guys just swapped clubhouses. 1-1. And then Josh Hader, who was mentioned a moment ago by Jeff Luhnow, the young lefty pitcher who's doing so well at Lancaster, was a big part of that trade, as well as a competitive balance pick in this year's draft. It's 2-1. Jeff talked about that competitive balance pick the Astros will get as a part of this trade with Miami today. The pick they got for Bud Norris in that trade last year was Derek Fisher, who's done very well since he entered pro ball this season. 3 balls, 1 strike. It has been a dizzying day to try to process all these trades that were made. Crazy day.
So you asked me the other day if I thought it was going to be a busy day on the trade deadline. I said, no, I don't think so. See?
Well,
that's what research will do for you.
Well, the funny thing was, I think Jeff Luhnow agreed with you. He was kind of surprised that things were moving quickly today. And a lot of people who write about this sport on a daily basis and really keep tabs on things were writing today as these trades were rolling in just one after the other, that the logjam had been unleashed by the first deal, the John Lester deal. And once that deal was made, then teams started focusing on David Price and these other deals.
So the A's go out and get John Lester, take that, Tigers, and when it's all said and done, the Tigers bring in David Price.
Yes. Strike to Petit. Petit started the go-ahead rally of 3 runs in the 3rd inning. John Gibbons, an outstanding major league manager, has gone to his bullpen here after 3 innings by his starter to try to put a stop on the Astros after they got 3 in the 3rd. Ground ball, backhanded. Here's a throw by Valencia on to second. Relay to first. That is a slick 5-4-3 double play. Goins really turned it with that strong arm. And after 4, it's 4-2 Astros.
Making cancer history. July 31st, 1998, the Astros trade Carlos Guillen, John Halama, and Freddie Garcia for one Randy, the big unit, Johnson. The Astros were 65-44 at the deadline, 3.5 games ahead of the Cubs. They closed with a 37-16 burst, finished 12.5 games ahead of the Cubs. Randy Johnson kind of worked out well that half a season. 10-1, I believe.
Yeah. Microscopic ERA. Now Nolan Reimold leads it off in the 5th inning. There's strike 1 for Jake Buchanan, and it was because of that 64-44 record that Jerry Hunsaker made the deal. He wasn't necessarily claiming that they had made the playoffs but he was looking ahead to a playoff rotation. not satisfied just to make the playoffs. He had a veteran club. He wanted to go deep. It didn't work out. The Astros were eliminated in that first round by San Diego. But very much the same thought went into these deals today. The deal that Oakland made, certainly, for the lefty John Lester, and the deal that Detroit made for the lefty David Price.
You can't foresee who's going to get hot. Randy Johnson could not have been better that second half of the season for the Astros in '98, and yet he wasn't as good as Kevin Brown when it came to the postseason.
Yeah, it's tough to foresee what's going to be happening 2 months from now, but now it's going to be, I think, a really good debate for those who follow baseball. Well, who's in the best shape for the postseason, Detroit or Oakland?
Well, that Tiger starting rotation, of course, on paper they look unbelievable.
Down the left field line, and that's in the seats. Pretty much a one-handed swing by Reimold to make it a 4-3 ball game. Reimold going deep with the second long ball of the night for the Blue Jays, and that is number 1 for him.
Just kind of reach out and touch somebody. Watch this swing. Well, looks actually better from the side than it initially did. Looked kind of one-handed, but he put it right on the barrel and launched it. I knew what I was doing, guys.
Ryan Goins will bat next. Goins singled in a run. And bunting, he fouls it, strike 1. Back to that Randy Johnson trade, though. That really energized this entire city. Packed houses in the Astrodome when he pitched. People showing up early to watch him warm up. That was quite a show in '98. And we could project that same thing maybe with David Price moving along to Detroit in this big trade today.
You know, the Astros have had a couple of big ones. That Randy Johnson one to me was so fun. Second half, it was packed house every time Randy pitched. But then there was also the Carlos Beltran deal. And again, just some really good deals.
That was in '04. 2 balls and a strike. 3-team trade with Beltran coming from Kansas City to Houston. But the talent you just detailed that went from Houston to Seattle, that was a big talent load. And those guys the Astros traded away, some of them played for many years, had very good careers.
So you give up those guys that had very good careers, lengthy careers, and you get Randy Johnson for half a season. Was the deal worth it for Houston?
In retrospect, no, because they only made the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me because I'd say I'd make that deal every time.
You would make it every time.
I would, yeah.
It's understandable. That's the 3rd strikeout for Buchanan. So today, this deadline deal adds to last year's Bud Norris deal to the Orioles. There's the Jose Veras trade. Justin Maxwell went to the Royals. In 2012, it was Jay Happ and that group to the Blue Jays. Wandy Rodriguez went to the Pirates. 2011, Michael Bourne and Hunter Pence.
Hunter Pence still banging around.
Oh, yeah. There's ball 1. Anthony Ghost grounded out in the second inning. So when can a trade be judged? How many years does it take?
Well, I think sometimes it takes 5 minutes. And that's kind of how the Randy Johnson deal was for me. He was, again, 10-1 that second half. He energized baseball to the nth degree here in Houston. I thought it was fabulous. And there was no telling what the minor leaguers were going to do heading off to Seattle. It turned out they had great careers, other than John Halama. But, yeah, I take that shot.
2 balls, 2 strikes. All right, let's say they haven't made the trade. Maybe they make the playoffs. Maybe they lose in the first round anyway. Right?
And they may go on and win the World Series. But you know, you take that shot, you roll the dice, and give it everything you've got. And that was an all-in deal for the club.
It was.
And I like it.
Well, Dave Dombrowski makes that same kind of deal that we're talking about that Jerry Hunsaker made in '98. He's done several of these with Detroit. He really goes for it in that particular year of the trade. And he's not unwilling to trade away some of the best young players in his organization, whether it was with the Marlins or the Tigers, in order to achieve his goal in a trade.
How many times have you been hearing about a guy on the minor league level? He's great. He's going to be fabulous. Comes to the big leagues and it just never happens. But you can't tell. It's an unknown commodity at that point, and sometimes they turn out to be great. But if you've got a chance to make your club much better with a deal, I take that shot.
Altuve gets in front of it, throws, and a good arm pitch to about number 2. Like the way he got in front of that ball on that one, Ash.
You got to be quick when you've got Anthony going down the line. But you know, we're talking about an area where you're going to get a split. Some people are going to say, oh, you were foolish getting rid of all that young talent, and I'm cool with that. But I'm also way beyond cool with taking that shot to win everything.
It's nothing like baseball for the trade season.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I imagine you can make good arguments, LeBron James, that deals in other sports can be beneficial.
Well, yeah, but those were off-season deals. Those are exciting.
Well, that's true.
And not that they don't occur during this season, but there's a lot more dealing in season baseball than the other sports. And now what do we do? The deadline has passed.
Now we await the non-waiver or the must clear the waiver deals.
Good play there by Singleton for out number 3. So leadoff homer by Reimold. That makes it a 1-run game now. 4-3 Houston in the 5th.
The Astros on top of the Blue Jays, bottom of the 5th. Can you beat the best? Join millions of players now on the only official home run derby mobile game from MLB.com. Square off against your friends from around the world live in multiplayer derby mode and climb to the top of the leaderboards. Download today for free on the Apple App Store and Google Play. Reminder also to grab some Texas poutine before the weekend's over. I know Howard Shin's enjoying some.
Howard? He doesn't have time to enjoy that, Julia. He's working too hard. Look at, oh, wait a minute. We caught him.
Rap stars don't eat.
Caught him in the act. All right, take your time, Howard. You don't have to be blogging now. Just savor it. Very, very slow bites. So we can all watch. 1-1 with Altuve batting. Altuve's 0 for 2.
So that's what the action cam does.
Yeah, that's what it does. Watch it. Right below us, Ash.
Yeah.
You almost had a play.
One of us was going after the ball. The other one was going the other way, and I'm not going to detail how that played out.
You don't have to, pal. Let me read you a tweet from Peter Gammons. Most underrated trade may be Astros getting Colin Moran and Jake Marisnick. Well, at strike 3 call, Altuve for 3 tonight.
I hope that's informed analysis.
You know, he does follow the minor leaguers very carefully, and we're unable to read everything that's out there on young players like Jake Marisnick and Colin Moran. We'll have more for you tomorrow night. But right now, just in the factual reporting stage of letting you know who was involved. Robbie Grossman is 2 for 2 with an RBI. I did ask George Springer about Marisnick. He had played against him. He said he is an excellent outfielder. In for a strike, 1-1. Marisnick hasn't done much in his brief major league trials. Sometimes that's a good time to trade for a young player. The Marlins seem to be going for it by virtue of picking up Cozart, but they made the type of deal that will help them beyond just the stretch drive this year.
Well, and I imagine they're hoping well beyond.
Sure.
Talking about a 24-year-old with a big-time arm. I guess he'll get with some pretty good young pitching. Jose Fernandez certainly among them when he gets back with Miami, and maybe a chance to learn there to get even better. But to me, the Cozart arm should equate to power-type numbers.
Yeah. Marisnick said on the conference call tonight with the media that he had off-season knee surgery over the winter, and his knee was feeling great this year. And of course, he's been traded twice. He was drafted by Toronto in 2009 in the 3rd round, then traded to Miami in that multiplayer deal involving Mark Burley and all those guys. Chris Carter is 0 for 2, fly ball to left and a strikeout. That's ball 1.
Just kind of a quieter approach for Chris Carter. Softer hands. For whatever reason, it's really working out nicely.
Warm-up action for the Astros. Here's the Chris Carter July and the George Springer May by comparison.
Very similar with batting average, obviously more at bats in those comparative months for George Springer. Great OPS. I mean, you can see how good Carter's been with the OPS when you compare it to what George Springer did, and Springer was off the charts at that time.
2-1 to Carter. Carter was joking before the game about the trade of Kike Hernandez. Jared Cozart and Austin Waite's also involved. He said, well, maybe I'll play center field tonight.
Well, there go the visions of sugar plums and great D, huh?
Oh, back 2-2. Instead, he's a DH. There are 3 guys on the bench tonight for Bo Porter, Jesus Guzman, Marwin Gonzalez, and Carlos Corcoran. Marisnick will join the club tomorrow to get back up to the full complement of position players. And the plan is to get Brad Peacock back. And Jeff Luhnow mentioned his name earlier when he was on, but the rule is a pitcher has to stay down in the minor leagues for 10 days after being sent down unless there's an injury to another pitcher. Runner going, that's looped into shallow center field. He'll stop at second base. Robbie Grossman, as that ball fished its way out to Gose, did not want to force it at third. Gose has that outstanding arm you talked about earlier.
Yeah, he does have a very good throwing arm, and you'll see a little thumber dropping in center field. Robbie Grossman already on the move. Did Robbie pick up the baseball? It looks like he did, but I would say he maybe came up short on the instincts. I believe third base was his for the taking right here.
Well, that would have been a good time to press the action with 1 out in the inning. But now 2 men on for Castro. Jason doubled in a run off the wall and left in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Little number. Redmond with the throw, and he got him. Grossman to 3rd, Carter to 2nd. 2 outs for Kraus now. Astro not at all pleased with the outcome of that.
He looked very relaxed on that at bat too, and just got out in front. A changing of speeds will mess with you as a hitter. He's starting to put it together though. Jason Castro has been finding his offensive game.
Now Redmond, who began his career in the Pirate organization. He is from St. Petersburg. Faces Krause. Krause singled in a run in the third. He's 1 for 2. Singleton's on deck. That's a strike call for Redmond in his second inning of work in relief of Drew Hutchison. Redmond first came to the big leagues with Cincinnati in 2012. Last year he made 14 starts and 3 relief appearances for Toronto. He struck out 76 and 77 innings last year. Ball to second. Goins on to first to end the Houston threat with no runs a hit. 2 men stranded after 5. It's 4-3 Astros.
And time to introduce you to the progressive fan of the game. I am hanging out with Anthony, who's enjoying an Astros game. He's got his Castro jersey on. He has been yelling like crazy. Anthony, who are you at the game with today?
Huh? Oh, my grandma, my aunt, my grandpa, my uncle, and my 2 cousins.
It's a great group that you have with you. Now, what's the coolest thing that's happened to you today?
Oh, there's actually 2 things. One is where my cousin he caught this baseball for me, and the first home run.
Yes, very, very cool. John Singleton's home run. Thank you for being our fan of the game, Anthony. Have a great time and keep cheering. Brownie, up to you.
Thanks, Julia. Cute young man. Jose Veras comes out of the Astros bullpen, leading 4-3. Veras in 24 games, 0-1 with an ERA of 6. And he's taking over for Jake Buchanan, who in 5 innings allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 3. Melky Cabrera.
Often intriguing with the numbers. 207 for the left-hand hitters against Veras. Of course, it's such a limited amount of work that he's had for the Astros.
It really is. And not nearly the role he had last year when he was the closer, and then he was traded at the trade deadline. This 6th inning appearance earlier than the norm for him, but Buchanan didn't have much notice before starting this game for the traded Jared Kozar. It's a 1-ball 1-strike count to Cabrera in 15 outs for Buchanan. He got 12 of those on ground balls. Gave up the 2 homers to Bautista and Reimold, and could be a winning pitcher. He got his first major league win in relief in the 11-inning victory here over Detroit June 27th. Breaking ball hit in the air, and coming over, it's Robbie Grossman in left center. One down.
Assuming Brad Peacock comes back and inserts into the rotation and does well and stays there, what does Jake Buchanan then have as his role?
Fair question.
Wouldn't anticipate that it's the back end of the bullpen, and maybe he just has to work in that long role and get as many innings as he can.
That may be his job for the season. Bautista homered in the first inning, grounded out in the third. Looks at ball one. The Angels did not make a major trade today, or a minor one for that matter. They are in the bottom of the 8th at Baltimore with no score. It's a 2-ball, no strike count.
I've always wondered, is it better for the morale of your club if you keep a team that's been winning, just kind of keep them together and say, we believe in you guys, go out for the final third of the season and just keep playing the kind of ball you've been playing? Or is it better to bring somebody in and give that impression that you're doing something as a front office to help the ball club win?
In the air, and Altuve goes out behind second base. Towering pop-up on a 2-0 count, 2 outs.
This season here at Minute Maid Park, every Friday night home game is followed by spectacular fireworks presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. The next Friday night fireworks is tomorrow. That's after the Astros play these Toronto Blue Jays. Get tickets at 1-877-9-ASTROS or online at astros.com.
Big night ahead tomorrow night with the fireworks. The Lance Berkman bobblehead. Deoner Navarro has grounded out both times tonight. Robbie Grossman has moved over into left center for Navarro. Switch hitting catcher. Taking ball one. Going back to Veras' last 3 appearances with the Cubs before he was released, and then his 12 with the Astros. He has a 2.30 ERA, covering his last 15 2/3 innings. 2-0. Just imagine you're Jake Buchanan. You show up today thinking you're going to the bullpen. You find out a few hours before game time you're the starting pitcher that night. And maybe he will be the winning pitcher.
For some guys, it's a benefit to not know. You get a night's sleep the night before, or at least you're in your routine, whatever it may be. And then the shock hits you when you're at the ballpark. Hopefully it's a good shock.
2-1.
Always. You know, you don't want the guy around who panics because now suddenly he's in the ball game and his routine got changed up. You want the guys that want to be in there and compete.
Well, he probably slept pretty well last night, not thinking he'd be the starting pitcher. Probably didn't waste a lot of time turning over the Toronto lineup as he had. Just showed up and very quickly he had to get ready to face this club.
Well, if you don't have Joey Bats in your dream, you probably had a good night.
Deep drive to right field may tie it at 4, and it does. Deoner Navarro with home run number 8 makes it a 4-4 game. Well, Veras gives up the 2-out long ball, and now Toronto will have Francisco batting.
No doubt about this one. His first home run that Veras has given up since joining the Astros. It's right down the heart of the plate, waist high. Hitters would call that the batting practice heater.
That ties it. Now the shift is on for Francisco, who has grounded out twice. 3 long balls for the Blue Jays of their 6 hits. Francisco takes. There's strike 1 to him. Francisco, 27 years old, from the Dominican Republic. Grew up on a farm, and he milked the cows in the morning before going to school. Darren Downs is warming up for Houston.
Going to be a bunch of kids who want to be power hitters going out and milking the cows now, developing the strong grip.
Well, some of them go to the gym and do those curls, and we just milk cows. Get the strong wrists and forearms.
You've got nothing to show for it once you go to the gym and you pump the iron around. You got something to show. You're out there with the cows.
Also have something to drink.
Mom and Dad are pleased with your actions.
That's a good point. You're a contributor to society by milking cows. Getting up early, doing the chores. That's the old-fashioned way to begin the day, Ash.
Well, if you get to the gym and you put your weights back in the proper place and clean up after others who haven't, then you've contributed to society as well.
Take care of all the germs and the weights.
It's going to require some spraying.
Francisco flails at that one, striking out. But in the 6th inning, the 3rd long ball of the night by Toronto comes from Navarro, and it ties the game at 4.
Big hit of the game. John Singleton has had some big swings recently. 3 home runs in particular. Fastball down and away. Crawford boxes. Fastball up and away. Crawford boxes. And then tonight, fastball up through the plate and crushed to right field. This is John Singleton, the version that I think we're all waiting to see more and more of. He's got plenty of power.
And now, as he leads it off, the game is tied 4-4, bottom of the 6th inning. Taking strike 1 from Redmond, who's starting his 3rd inning in relief of Hutchison. Singleton went deep in the 2nd inning, then he struck out in the 3rd. Swings there, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. That Yankee Red Sox trade, Stephen Drew going from Boston to New York for Kelly Johnson, was the first between those 2 teams since '97. The Yankees got catcher first baseman Mike Stanley. 1 and 2, they're such heated rivals they don't often make deals with each other. The Yankees plan to play Martin Prado in right field. What about Ichiro? Singleton strikes out. That's number 2 for Redmond.
That is intriguing. Ichiro has not had a great season, but he hasn't played badly for the guys. You know, it's funny that the Red Sox and Yankees would have difficulties getting together on a deal because, I mean, they had that nice deal for both clubs when Babe Ruth went to the Yankees from the Red Sox. I think that worked out well both ways.
certainly did for the financing. No, Nanette. Matt Dominguez is 0 for 2. Fly ball left field. Is it deep enough? Cabrera back. Cabrera looking up. That is off the wall. And Dominguez has a double. 15th double for Matty D. A few feet further to the left. And he gives the Astros a 5-4 lead.
I find myself thinking about Matt Dominguez with the trade deadline today as you watch his double out into left center field. But how does he feel when he sees the Astros going out and getting a youngster third baseman, a guy that's projected to be a good third baseman, and talk about the guy? Does it help serve for Matt Dominguez to become maybe a little more fulfilled in terms of being all the player he can be?
Stuck in the fence out there. Hit number 8 for the Astros. The Blue Jays have 6 hits. Lodged right in there at the top of the padding. L.J. Hose has grounded out and he's walked. It's a tricky play for a left fielder. Cabrera played it about right, not knowing that ball might do what it did. Yeah, he's pointing in for the umpire that it lodged in the fence.
He did it. Who's that guy?
Or maybe it catches that padding on the side of the wall and goes the other way on the warning track out towards center.
That's a tough area out there.
It is.
And not that the ball went in the padding, but that it was actually catchable. That if you get around that scoreboard and retrace your steps quickly enough, you might be able to make that play.
It's possible. He's playing right now where a lot of left fielders play, right there at the end of the wall, so they can go back. Foul away by L.J. Hose. 2-1. Right there. And if the ball is hit toward the line, it's a double anyway.
It's hard to put your eyes on the baseball and be able to see behind you and know where you can actually get back there a little deeper. But that was one of the plays.
That's a liner to right field. Bautista over, and he drops it. Matty D is hung up. He'll get to third base. The ball dropped by Bautista in right. They had a beat on it, but couldn't hold it. And now the Astros have runners at first and third with 1 out.
I watched Bautista for 4 or 5 years in Toronto, and I didn't see a better right fielder in the game during that time. Better all-around player. So to see this play is, I mean, it just freezes you in your tracks. Looks like he might have a kind of a newish piece of leather out there.
That's his third error. He's been playing some first base in addition to outfield. George Springer was saying tonight the only thing that really gives him trouble playing the outfield, and he's played right most of the time in this ballpark, would be a ball that gets hung up in the lights. That might have affected it. It's a line drive. Gregorio Petit will try to capitalize after the error by Bautista. Runners at first and third, 1 out now. Petit looks at ball 1. Starting at shortstop for the second straight game. Marwin Gonzalez, who has been the shortstop most of the time after the demotion of Jonathan Villar, getting another rest. So Altuve's on deck. The Astros as a team have hit .228 with runners in scoring position. Worst in the American League. Foul back, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Gregorio Petit. Quite a story from Venezuela. He reached the big leagues with Oakland in 08 and 09, then not returning until this season to the major league level. Lefty Brett Cecil is warming up for Toronto. Petit has hits now in all 3 of his starts since he joined the Astros. It's 2-1. Sip warming up in the bullpen for Houston. Valencia, Reimold, and Goins are due up in the 7th for the Blue Jays. There's Cecil. Brian Cashman, by the way, says that he tried to trade for John Lester and David Price. Runners going, and here's a ground ball to third. Wow. Dominguez was coming in, and Ho swung at the pitch, grounded out, and got him home. Could that have been a squeeze? I don't know what was going on, but they get the run home to take the lead 5-4.
Well, I don't think Bo Porter's too pleased. Yes, he got his run. Everything worked out just like a squeeze, but that was a failure right there by Gregorio Petit. Here comes Matt Dominguez. Is there still an out presented there? I say there was. I think had the third baseman Valencia just come on with the play to home plate, he had a shot. But that is not the way to win friends and influence managers.
Yeah, and it's a good idea to have a dentist ready in case that runner from third gets drilled by the hitter swinging away. Now intentional walk to Altuve with first base open. Altuve 0 for 3 tonight. So Petit is talking it over with Bo Porter. He will get an RBI on that, his first as an Astro. But it looked as if something went awry, and they talk about it and smile about it and move on.
You can smile when you get your run. It all worked out in the end. But don't let it happen again. Tomorrow through Sunday is Legends Weekend right here at Minute Maid Park as the Astros host the Toronto Blue Jays. On Saturday, 10,000 fans receive an Andy Pettitte jersey. That's courtesy of Waste Management. For tickets, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
There's the conversation with Gregorio and Bo Porter.
Carlos Corporon interjecting that they drove in the run. He did exactly what you wanted. I'd love to hear that explanation. Well, the pitch was up and in, you see, and I really have a hard time bunting that pitch, but I'm pretty good on the swing on that one.
Now the San Antonio native John Gibbons makes his way toward the mound with a score 5-4 Houston after the intentional walk to Altuve. Robbie Grossman getting set to go, and it'll be against Brett Cecil, the lefty, coming in to turn Grossman around. Runners at first and second, and 2 outs here in the 6th. 5-4 Houston. Back to Marlins.
We work it here in the 6th inning. Great guests, hot topics, and no holds barred debate. Kevin Eschenfelder serves it up fresh every single night on Sports Talk Live, every weeknight at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Lefty Brett Cecil, the veteran who is 28 years old, comes in. He's 0-3 with a 3.51 ERA. Figures that do not approach his all-star season of last year. He will have runners at first and second with 2 outs facing Robbie Grossman. Cecil's from Dunkirk, Maryland, and went to the University of Maryland. And he was a closer when he was drafted with a supplemental pick in the 07 draft after the first round.
It's a 15-game winner when he came to the big leagues, though.
Boy, he was. In 2010, he made 28 starts. Last year, he worked in relief 60 times. Now time is called. Navarro goes out to talk it over. Runner at second. Long series of signs. Robbie Grossman, he's having quite a night. 2 for 2 with a walk. An RBI single back in the third and a run scored when the Astros grabbed the lead with 3 in that frame. 4-2. Then Toronto chipped away and tied it. Now Houston back in front 5-4.
Blue Jays are into their second game of the final third of the season, and you still have to talk things over about signs.
In tight to Grossman. There's ball 1. Grossman is hitting 178 as a right-handed batter with 8 hits and 45 at bats. Chris Carter's on deck. Cecil deals, and it's ball 2. Cecil was on the disabled list with a left groin strain. He's pitched 11 times since he came back. 7 innings, 2 earned runs allowed. Swing by Grossman. That makes it 2-1 to Robbie.
Ooh, that's one you don't want to miss. 2-0. Guess for and get fastball right through the middle, up in the strike zone, and swing through it.
They're in the bottom of the 9th at Camden Yards. Angels nothing, Orioles nothing. Strike makes it 2-2 now to Grossman. Tyler Skaggs started, went only 4 2/3 for the Angels. Bud Norris started. He went 7 shutout frames for the Orioles. Manny Machado made quite a play on Albert Pujols last night. Grossman looks at it. It's ball 3 and it's a full count. Now the runners will be moving. Machado threw out Pujols from about the 4th row seats down there along third base.
Former shortstop in the minor leagues, but what a third baseman he has become.
He is slick. Grossman fouls it back.
Again, that fastball up through the plate, and Cecil does not overpower at all. He has a great changeup, though.
He pitched well in a Toronto 5-2 win over Houston in Toronto April 8th. With a scoreless inning, holding on to a 5-2 lead in the 8th. Runners go, and it's a strikeout for Cecil. Ending the 6th inning for Houston with the go-ahead run scoring. It's unearned. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, 2 left. After 6, 5-4 Astros.
it's time for the Honda Minor League Report. Astros prospect Mark Appel making his debut as a Corpus Christi Hook just recently, and the right-hander had a great night in his first start in AA. 5 innings, no runs, 4 strikeouts. Threw about 83 pitches in that one. A very good night for Appel, who had been struggling in Lancaster before that. Jeff Luhnow saying earlier on the broadcast that he wasn't intimidated by the higher level. Good to see. But before he went to Corpus, he stopped by in Houston and threw a bullpen with pitching coach Brent Strom up here. And asked Stromy what they worked on there, and he said he's really working on getting him to pitch up and in. Appel has not hit a batter, meaning he has not gone inside enough, and that's what Stromy wants him to do. Also, the timing of his delivery, but asked about the spirits of Appel as well, and he said Appel was great. He's got great faith. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's capable of doing, and he felt great about what they worked on together. Brownie?
Got great results, too. Thanks, Julia. 5-4 Astros. Jose Veras, who gave up the tying run on a Navarro homer in the 6th inning, now again has a 1-run lead to try to protect with Danny Valencia batting. And he hits one into right field. Valencia's 2 for 3 in this game. Hit number 2 allowed by Veras, the 33-year-old from the Dominican. One of those nights when the hitters are getting some good licks, and 3 home runs have been hit by the Blue Jays. The Astros have 8 hits. So who's going to take hold here in the late innings? That's what the question is. Olin Reimold has hit one of those 3 homers. That was in the 5th inning. He struck out looking earlier. Veras in relief of Buchanan.
I was going to say, Brownie, and I apologize, all teams have their injuries and changes over the course of the year, but this lineup for the Blue Jays is not even a resemblance of what I think they would have imagined coming out of spring training this year. Of course, Edwin Encarnacion, the big missing in action right now, but boy, that's a lineup you could not have anticipated for Toronto.
Encarnacion has 26 homers, 70 runs batted in. That's a shot to left field. Krause back. Krause leaping and catching it. Good timing by Krause. Valencia had to hustle back to first. 1 out.
That's a pretty nice play right in that same area we were talking about. Matt Dominguez got the double up against the lower part of that fence. Go back here along that scoreboard, and at some point you have to take a shot getting back. This is just simply the leaping ability to make the play.
Lefty Tony Sepp has been warming up, and now the left-handed hitters Goins and Gose due up next. And switch hitter Reyes, he will be called in. He'll inherit the runner at first, Valencia, with 1 out here in the 7th inning. And a 5-4 Houston lead. When we come back, there's the score. Back with more in a moment.
In the top of the 7th. We asked earlier on Twitter how much y'all will miss Jared Cosart and Kike Hernandez, and on Twitter y'all responded. A Aguilar 30 talked about Kozar, saying it was easily his first MLB start against the Rays when he flirted with a no-hitter and gave us a glimpse of a bright future. Adam Vavell tweets, Kike really provided a spark to the team. Kozar was a talented young pitcher that has a high ceiling. Wish him the best in Miami. Thank you very much for tweeting me at HoChanCSN. Guys, back to you.
Howard, you got back from that food pretty quickly. How was it?
The food gave me some energy. It was delicious.
Well, you get that late inning burst right there, pal. And we are expecting some solid, aggressive reporting after that little snack for Howard Chen.
Texas poutine, huh?
Yeah. That was some poutine. And you know what? I am Canadian, too, so it made it even better.
What aren't you, Howard?
That's a very good question. I'm full right now, I'll tell you that much.
Tony Sipp in 34 games, 2-1 with a 2.56 ERA. He'll be facing Goins. It'll be lefty on lefty.
That is a much envied whip that he's toting around. .85.
With a whip like that, it could be Zorro. Goins is 1 for 2 with an RBI single in the second inning.
Got to be a sword involved there too, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Did Zorro use a whip?
I don't know.
There's ball one. How about Bat Masterson? He used a cane. Who used a whip? Of your action heroes you can remember from your childhood.
I don't. It wouldn't have been the Master Cylinder.
No. 176 for Goins against lefties.
Catwoman?
Maybe.
That's from Carl in the truck. He was a big Catwoman fan.
1 ball, 1 strike. This one just shapes up as a dandy here for the late innings, the way things have gone so far. Blue Jays got a first inning homer from Bautista. And they got a second inning run. The Astros got a home run from Singleton in the second. Strike there, 1-2. Then they broke out with 3 in the third. 4-2 lead, but Blue Jays got a homer from Reimold in the 5th, another from Navarro in the 6th. The Astros got the unearned run in the 6th. It is 5-4 here in the 7th. Steve Tollison is on deck. With Ghost scheduled to bat next, that would give John Gibbons a right-handed hitter. Sipp can't get to it. Altuve is there. 2 outs. Valencia to second base. Good pitch by Tony Sipp.
It's a delivery we haven't seen much of, if at all, from Tony Sipp. He came set in that kind of that quick pitch to the plate at that point. Left that breaking ball up and in. Still gets the jam shot with it. See, it just kind of spun its way to the plate. That's effectively done. Sometimes you hang it, they bang it. Sometimes you hang it, and you'll get the jam shot.
Now this 5-4 game, pitching coach Brent Strom is out to talk. Tony Ghost has been taken down for the pinch hitter. So they go over Steve Tollison, a right-handed batter. Sipp has been effective against both types of hitters. So that's not the issue. Maybe just going over the scouting report on Tollison. But right-handed hitters have a measly .203 batting average against Tony. He's not a situational lefty. He's a late inning lefty.
And he's earned every bit of it. Just great work right from day one in the bullpen.
Tollison 4 for 18 pinch hitting, including a pinch hit homer. Overall, he's hit .248 for 125 at bats. He has a .400 slugging percentage. He's been used more than any other Toronto pinch hitter. That is strike 1. Ghost was 0 for 2. Colby Rasmus was in the original starting lineup and then scratched. Lineup changes were made. There was a story out that he was late getting to the ballpark. Tollison's father Wayne played in the majors for parts of 10 seasons. Little roller goes out toward the mound. Sipp after it. Sipp throwing low, and it gets away, and the tying run scores. Oh, he's out for interfering. He went to the inside of the first base line, and the throw hit him. So the tying run does not score. It is out, number 3. On the batter-runner interference, John Gibbons is coming out on the call by Paul Emmel, the home plate umpire. They talk it over, but the runner must be in the lane in foul territory. And he was on the inside of the baseline, and the throw hit him. So Tollefson is ruled out for interfering with the throw. No runs, a hit. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Astros still lead it 5-4.
Time for us to show you the AT&T fan photo of the game, just like we promised. Tonight, it is Marissa Pyle. Let's see what her photo looks like. That is awesome, being on the field, it looks like, right behind the batting cages there. Tweet your photos to #CSNH fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast that is brought to you by AT&T. Guys.
There's a batter-runner interference here. Tony set for the throw. Tollefson is hit by the throw. He's on the inside of the baseline. He is therefore out for interfering with the throw.
Tony really tried to hump up with this throw, and I think it caused him to jerk the throw. But ultimately, just a good call, and one that often gets missed. Look how far inside that baseline the runner is. It's hard, the last step or so to the bag, but he was well inside the line.
John Gibbons came out, did not hotly contest the call by the home plate umpire Paul Emmel. By the way, we have an answer. As you see, Colby Rasmus taking over in center field now. After the pinch hitter Tollefson batted for ghosts. To that age-old question, who used the whip? Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah.
That's our answer. Thanks to whoever sent that on Twitter. Here's Aaron Sanchez. He's 1-0 with a 2.08 ERA.
That whip tends to be highly ineffective against the pistol.
We talk about whip, and there's a different kind with a 0.46 for Sanchez. Faces Chris Carter.
Not as effective as the whip gets.
Carter with a comebacker. Retired. 1 pitch, 1 out for Sanchez. Brett Cecil struck out the only man he faced, Robbie Grossman. Sanchez pitcher number 4 for John Gibbons. Sanchez is just 22. He was the Baseball America ranked #1 prospect in the Toronto organization coming into this season. Jason Castro faces him. Jason doubled in a run off the wall and left in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 3. 8 hits for Houston. Robbie Grossman has a couple. Castro takes.
You can see a good reason why Baseball America liked this guy. 97 on that fastball, and that whip sub 1/2. I think they got it right.
Shortstop Reyes. 2 outs. Wonder where Baseball America ranked Indiana Jones.
You know, if you're going to go to the whip, I think he should have been up there pretty good.
2 outs, and it's Mark Krause. Krause 1 for 3 with an RBI single in the 3rd. Sanchez was a supplemental pick in 2010. He was the 34th player drafted, listed at 6'4". Last year he pitched at Class A Dunedin, where he struck out 75 in 86 innings.
Indiana Jones that was playing in that Sahara League, right?
Yeah, he certainly was. Josh Fields warming up for Houston as Krause bats. Ball one to Krause. Sanchez was one of the most talked about pitchers in the Arizona Fall League last year. In 23 1/3 innings there, he struck out 21. It's 2-0. He was thought to be one of those guys with a high ceiling. Cathedral ceiling on this guy, Ash.
It is definitely vaulted. I don't know about cathedral, but yeah, he's got good stuff.
It's 3-0. Well, he's a high 90s guy in velocity on the fastball, with a changeup and hard breaking ball. Had a shoulder injury last year. There's a strike to Krause, and it's 3-1.
Makes it look easy at 97.
He does. It's a liner to right field. Bautista back with the catch. And after 7, the Astros lead the Toronto Blue Jays 5-4.
Over the Blue Jays. Tomorrow through Sunday is Legends Weekend at Minute Maid Park as the Astros host the Toronto Blue Jays. Sunday afternoon, 10,000 fans will receive a Roy Oswalt bobblehead. For tickets, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. Well, all credit goes to Patrick Creighton. He was the one who came up with the Indiana Jones using the whip reference. And we have another one for you. Back in the old days of TV, Lash LaRue was a hero who used the whip.
Lash LaRue.
Yeah. Well, Josh Fields has a whip of 1.13. This guy has really been stringing together outstanding outings.
He's got a 0 ERA in the 10 games that he's appeared in this month. And that whip is just descending. He's been fabulous since being called up. Back in May now, since he came back up with the club.
So he's the 8th inning closer here with a 1-run lead in the top of the lineup due up. Jose Reyes 1 for 3. He fouls it back to strike one. Fields, in addition to that 94-mile-per-hour heater you just saw, has been working in his changeup more often lately.
It makes the heater better. He's had the curveball still, and he's had a good one all along. But it's the changeup that seems to make the difference with that fastball.
Jose Veras went 1 1/3 innings. He allowed 2 hits, 1 run, no walks, 1 strikeout.
There it is.
Well, he was really off balance on that swing.
Dare you to hit that when you're looking fastball, or even if you're looking change. You'll change your mind a lot of times at that last instant. You think, okay, I'll go ahead and look for a change. And the instant it's delivered with that fastball arm speed, you'll flinch.
Now a high chopper. Here's Dominguez coming in and won't have a play on him. Well, that was a lucky hit. He was really off balance on the 0-2, another off-speed pitch, but with his speed, once he bounces it high like that and puts it in that spot on the infield, he's going to beat it out.
It was a poorly located changeup, but like you say, Brownie, it was not a good swing at all, way out in front. But a chopper, yeah. You know, even Ichiro would say, "What were you doing with that swing?" Yeah, you got no shot to get those wheels.
He was not in contact with the ground.
Should be some sort of rule that at least 1 foot has to be on the ground.
He might be flying towards second here with Melky Cabrera batting. Cabrera is 0 for 3. Reyes 19 for 20 in steals. He draws the throw. But you know, there have been so many strikeouts in Major League Baseball. Reyes just makes the point about making contact. Even on a ball hit like that, he's able to reach on an infield hit. And now he's the type who can turn it into a run. Strike to Cabrera.
Okay, so you get the pitch you're looking for, and yeah, that's not classic. That's good extension, but nothing else was good. Yeah, they'll have fun with that in the clubhouse. But you hate to see an inning get started with that swing.
Well, for Josh Fields, you certainly do in a one-run game. Now 1-1, and Cabrera, who has been dazzling with the bat this season. Then Bautista to follow. So a little infield hit like that can really turn into something big. Hit number 8 for the Blue Jays. The Astros also have 8. Altuve dives, can't stop it, on through into right center field. Reyes goes to third base. Grossman gets the throw back into second, and it's first and third, nobody out. An 8-game hitting streak for Cabrera. That's hit number 140 for him. Altuve has 151.
He's keeping the heat on Altuve. Just stays on it. He really does a good job in this regard, staying on pitches, much like Altuve, and goes right back up the middle.
Castro and Fields talk it over. Fields has not given up a run in 12 straight games, striking out 20 in his last 13 1/3 scoreless innings. He is really being challenged here. Bautista with a homer in the first, 1 for 3.
Bautista, being the power guy, is also prone to the strikeout, and this is one of those scenarios where you'd love to get the strikeout or the pop-up on the infield and then take your shot with the slow-footed Navarro to maybe get the double play to end the inning.
Now Altuve was shifted around on the third base side of second. He's been moved over, and he's now on the first base side of second as the ball goes out of play. There's strike 1.
That fastball comes close to providing the pop-up.
There's the different look on the infield after Altuve moved to his left. Since Field came back from the minor leagues in Oklahoma City May 14th, he's given up 2 earned runs in 27 2/3 innings. In the air and out to left field. Mark Krause with Reyes tagging at third will come in for the catch. Here's Reyes coming to the plate. Throw to the plate, cut off. Relay to second. They get the out there as the tying run scores 5-5. So 2 outs on the play. And Krause to Dominguez to Altuve on a 7-5-4 double play.
Well, yes, it results in a sac fly. Not the strongest throw from left field from Mark Krause, but at least he does hit the cutoff man. And in doing so, you get that second out. So there's 2 outs and nobody aboard now, rather than 1 out, the man in scoring position.
That was weird. A sac fly, but a double play. Bautista gets his second RBI of the night, 63rd of the year.
Well, that's intriguing because you don't get an RBI on a ground ball double play, but
right.
You do here.
But you do on a fly ball double play. Navarro with ball 1. He homered in the 6th inning, and that one tied it at 4. Tony Sipp retired both men he faced. I'll have a strikeout tonight. There's the breaking pitch for Fields. It's in for a strike, and it's 1-1 count for Josh. The Astros have Singleton, Dominguez, and Hose due up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Houston bullpen with 16 saves and 18 blown saves this year. 2 balls and a strike, and this will be the 19th blown save of the year tonight. That is the high figure in the American League. Four Quarters Club, though, has the final at bat. Another battle to win 2 of 3 from first place Oakland. 2-2 to Navarro. The Angels and Orioles move to the 11th with no score. Baltimore has 3 hits through 10. Phillies lead at Washington. It's 10-4 in the middle of the 9th inning. Broken bat fly ball, and that will loop in for a single. Navarro gets his 2nd hit of the night. Well, the inning started with a little infield bouncer by Reyes, and now Navarro loops one in.
The Astros have had some of these innings recently themselves where not exactly slamming the ball around. Again, a bat dying a hero.
That's 10 hits now for the visitors. Juan Francisco is the batter. He's 0 for 3. Cliff Lee left with an apparent elbow injury tonight in that Phillies game. Foul ball and strike 1. So Jonathan Papelbon was not moved today. Nor was Cole Hamels or A.J. Burnett for that matter. Mariners lead at Cleveland at 6-5 in the bottom of the 9th now. Dustin Ackley hit his 5th homer. Mike Zunino, number 17. Jason Kipnis hit number 6 for the Indians. 1-1 to Juan Francisco. Pirates 2, Diamondbacks nothing. Middle of the 3rd in the desert. Pirates didn't have any clue on how to run the bases in San Francisco. Fly ball to left field. Krause underneath. To end the top of the 8th inning with the tying run scoring. 1 run, 3 hits, 1 left. It's 5-5 in the 8th.
Rewind for the Astros offensively tonight. They picked up 3 runs in the 3rd inning. They were trailing 2-1 going into that frame, but they started to pick them up. Gregorio Petit got it started. Robbie Grossman had an RBI hit. And then Jason Castro was able to rocket a double to drive in a run. Mark Krause added another with his base hit. And then in the 6th inning, one more run on the board. And that would-be squeeze, Petit at the plate was supposed to squeeze. Instead, swung the bat with Matt Dominguez coming to the plate. It still scored a run, and the Astros enjoyed the lead momentarily. It has now gone the other direction, but very intriguing in that 6th for Houston.
Now a 5-5 game. Chad Qualls warming up for Houston. John Singleton moving into the box in the home 8th inning. He homered in the 2nd. He has struck out twice since then. Sanchez deals and it's ball 1. He had a 1-2-3 7th inning. He is pitcher number 4 for John Gibbons tonight. Came up from Buffalo July 22nd. Started the year in Double-A. Foul back. 1-1. Advancing very quickly through the Toronto system.
You keep pumping 97 miles an hour, throw strikes, don't walk people, and pretty easy to get outs with that kind of stuff. Should move through the system.
It's 2-1. The group from the Mizzou, Texas Tigers here tonight enjoying the ball game. Foul ball, 2-2, and the folks at the National Saber Convention, Society of American Baseball Research, are enjoying the week. There's Chad Qualls in the bullpen. They were treated to a panel discussion today by members of the 62 Colt 45s. Hal Smith came in from Columbus, Texas. Bob Aspermani, Carl Warwick were there. There were other folks on the panel as well. Mickey Herskowitz, Hal Smith was there. Singleton's down on strikes. That's 4 in a row set down by Sanchez. Roger Clemens came in later for another panel on college baseball. Jim Gilligan, coach at Lamar. Good time. Matt Dominguez doubled in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 3. Carl Warwick had 3 straight pinch hits for St. Louis in the 1964 World Series.
That was against the Tigers, right?
That was against the Yankees.
The 64 World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my years all mangled up.
Tigers were 68 against the Cardinals.
There you go. Yes.
That was the Mickey Lolich.
That's the Denny McClain 31 victory year, right?
Yeah, and Mickey Lolich won 3 World Series games.
Yes, he did.
What a duo that was. So do you think the Tigers could even do better than that with the trio that they have now for postseason? With David Price. Can you imagine the rotation they have right now?
On paper, it's as good as I've ever seen. If that was the Justin Verlander of 3-4 years ago, and on with the best years for those guys, best I've seen.
Sanchez gloves it. Throws out Dominguez, 2 outs.
The Houston Astros face off against their interstate rivals, the Texas Rangers. That's in a 3-game series, August 8th through the 10th, right here at Minute Maid Park. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com. Ron Washington failed to do so, and he is not happy about it.
Do not upset Wash. L.J. Holmes is 0 for 2 with a walk. How many times have we played that this year? About 400?
Not enough.
There's strike 1. That ranks right up there with the George Brett Pine Tar clip.
Gotta splice the two together, make them work somehow.
Okay. 1-1. They're gonna have fun in the editing room.
You know, you were mentioning a little while ago Seattle catcher Mike Zunino with his 17th home run of the year. I bet you could catch a lot of baseball fans off guard by saying which catcher leads the American League in home runs. Mike Zunino would be the answer, but
you could catch people off guard with that.
And then name the top 3 in home runs among catchers.
Right through the wickets. There's Goins. He'll give it a shot, and with the strong arm, he throws out L.J. Holmes. Beautiful play by Goins up the middle, sending this game to the ninth. It's still tied at 5.
The dog days of August fire up tomorrow night as Altuve and Carter try to keep their July mojo against Jose Bautista and the red-hot Toronto Blue Jays. Pre-game live starts at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow night on Comcast Sportsnet. Those matchups in the series. Tomorrow it's Jay Happ against Colin McHugh going after his 5th win. R.A. Dickey on Saturday trying to even his record. He'll do it against Brett Oberholzer. And the Sunday game to conclude the 4-game set. It'll be Scott Feldman trying to make it 2 straight very good starts as he goes to the mound for the Astros.
Marcus Stroman, really something for Toronto, Ash.
Hey, he's been really good, 7-2 already.
Chad Falls comes in with the score tied here in the 9th inning. In 41 games, he's 1-2. His ERA is 3.19. He's 11 for 14 in saves and had the blown save in that Oakland 7-4 win Tuesday night. He gave up 5 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning as Oakland, trailing 4-1 when he came in the 9th inning, scored 6 runs total in that night.
I have a feeling there must have been a number of calls coming in about Chad Falls on this 31st of July. It's been so valuable.
Yeah, that was certainly his worst outing of the year, the last one. But he has been solid. Danny Valencia is ready to lead it off here in the 9th inning. Valencia 2 for 3. Valencia doubled in the 2nd and scored. He singled in the 7th inning. Josh Fields in 1 inning allowed 3 hits, 1 run, with no walks, 1 strikeout. Blue Jays able to do what nobody had done against Josh Fields for the last 12 games, score a run off him. There's strike 1. 17,423 the paid attendance tonight at Minute Maid Park. This is the first of a 4-game set. On a breaking pitch, it goes to 0-2 on Valencia. It's a very difficult job closing. He came in with a 3-run lead, 1 inning to go. That's a tough night. Lone save in a game like that. Slider works again, strikes out Valencia, 1 out.
That slider will work all night long. I hear people talk about depth with the pitch. That slider right on top breaks downward. That's tough to do. You have to really get on top of it.
Nolan Reimold homered in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 3. Hit the ball on the button in the 7th inning, but Krause made a good leaping catch on his line drive and left. This one goes over Krause and into the left field seats, and it's 6-5 Toronto. A go-ahead homer by Nolan Reimold, his second of the game. That's the fourth Blue Jay home run of the night, 134 this year.
Talked about it many times. First pitch, that's where you can find some of the big numbers in Major League Baseball. In fact, the big numbers, batting average and home runs. It's a first pitch fastball, finds the heart of the plate. Jason Castro ducking his head. He knows right away that the Astros are now trailing in the ball game.
Casey Jansen and Dustin McGowan have been warming up for Toronto. Now Ryan Goins with strike one on the foul ball. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI. So Reimold, with his first 2 home run games since May 26, 2011, has hit his first 2 as a Blue Jay. Paying off here in a major way. And now Jansen, the closer, will be counting on working the bottom of the ninth. Foul back, and it's 0-2. Blue Jays trying to make it 6 consecutive wins. They've won 10 of 12. The ever competitive AL East. They are a factor. Well, it kind of makes you wonder what Boston will be doing in terms of being able to win many games for the rest of the year after disposing of all that talent today.
I would think they'd be in big trouble. For the moment, kind of rebuild, get some confidence back for some of the guys like Middleton at third base and Xander Bogaerts. They're in a lot of hurt, you would think, for the remainder of the year.
Toronto has 2 series remaining with Boston. Broken bat liner caught by Singleton. 2 outs. Toronto is 10-3 against Boston this season.
Head on the hands. Barrel explodes. John Singleton, nice crossover move. He's quicker on his feet than you might guess for a big guy.
Colby Rasmus up for the first time today. He's 3 for 5 with a homer against Chad Qualls in his career. 219 for the season for Rasmus and 247 at bats, 14 homers, 33 driven in. Strike one of the former St. Louis Cardinal. Rasmus has had some powerful years, including 3 years of 22 homers or more.
Slender guy, but he does develop the power and plays a great center field.
1-1 his last 7 games against the Astros. He's hit .393. He's been battling hamstring problems this year. He hit a home run off Dallas Keuchel in Toronto back on April 10th, getting 4 hits in that series. Good movement there for Qualls. That makes it 1-2. The Astros in the bottom of the ninth will have their 9-1-2 hitters due up. Petit, Altuve, and Grossman. Rasmus was traded to Toronto in the 2011 year in an 8-player deal. Takes that one in the dirt, 2-2. He's from Columbus, Georgia. And yet moved to Alabama, and he broke Bo Jackson's Alabama state record for home runs in high school.
You would hope to not offend Bo in the process.
If you offend Bo, you're in some serious trouble. He could break most of us in half.
And don't even think about trying to run away.
What an athlete. How about some of those running catches he made? The one in Kansas City when he ran up on the wall.
Is he maybe, and it's hard to leave Deion Sanders off that list, but if you had greatest athletes to have ever played Major League Baseball, those two would be on that short list, would they not?
Yes.
Dave Winfield might be a guy on the list.
He would be on the list. He strikes out, but the Blue Jays take the lead 6-5 with the second home run of the night from Nolan Reimold. Bottom of the ninth coming. Net is presented by AT&T Uverse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. Well, the Blue Jays got their fourth homer of the night. It came from Nolan Reimold. They have a 6-5 lead. Chad Qualls gave it up. He's talking in the dugout there with Colin McHugh on the right. Scott Feldman in the middle. And now the Astros come up with the closer for the Blue Jays, Casey Janssen, taking over. 3-0 with a 2.96 ERA. He's 17 for 19 in saves. Gregorio Petit, the batter. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI.
Janssen not the overpowering sort. He does throw strikes. Good athlete on the hill.
There's strike one. Well, since the beginning of last year, he's 51 of 55 in saves. Bouncer out to second. Goins, 1 out. Aaron Sanchez worked 2 perfect innings with 1 strikeout. He's in line for the win. That would be his second. Jose Altuve has been stopped so far tonight. 0 for 3 with an intentional walk. His 12-game hitting streak is on the line. Robbie Grossman's on deck. Cole Porter short-handed tonight after the trade. Danny Valencia even with a base at third. With ball 1. Bo told Jose Altuve around the batting cage during batting practice, just zip it tonight. Make sure you don't do anything to get thrown out of this game. We don't have a whole lot of players. Fly ball to center field. Rasmus puts it away. 2 outs. He was just joking, of course. Jose doesn't get into trouble. We promised it earlier in the game. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and it's Reimold hitting his first 2 homers as a Blue Jay tonight.
One-man wrecking crew. What an intriguing night. 6 runs on the board for the Blue Jays. All singletons on the board. 1st and 2nd, 5th and 6th, 8th and 9th.
Picket fence up there. Robbie Grossman has 2 hits and a walk. He's driven in a run. There's strike 1 to him. Nolan Reimold was claimed on waivers July 14th, so he pays dividends here a couple of weeks later. In tight for a ball, 1-1. We focus so much on what happens on a day like this. Trade deadline day, all the major deals that were put together. And yet, it might be decided in the AL East by somebody who's a waiver claim. Maybe an August waiver deal. 2 balls and a strike where somebody passes through waivers and is traded. And inside for a 3-1 count for Casey Jansen, 32 years old, from Orange, California. 4th round pick in 04 by the Jays. Had some soreness in his shoulder earlier this year. Strike, and it's 3-2 to Robbie Grossman. Chris Carter is on deck. 11 hits for the Blue Jays, 8 for the Astros. Toronto has the only error of the game. Inside for ball 4, and Grossman takes the walk. He's on for the 4th time tonight. Now Carter.
You ready to walk one off, Ronnie?
Oh, that'd be something. Well, Carter is just the guy, and the groove he's been in the month of July has been the best of his life. 2 walk-off homers this year for the Astros. June 12th against Arizona, June 27th against Detroit. Carter singled in the 5th inning. Strike 1 to the big slugger.
Jansen didn't want to come with the leadoff fastball. Turns to the slow hook.
Makes every bit of sense. Carter hit that home run in the 10th for the walk-off win here June 12th, and he provided a homer in the 11th 2 weeks later. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now on the final day of July, a month in which he has tied for the American League lead in homers with 8. He has a chance to do something big again. Jason Castro's on deck. In the air to right field, shallow. Ryan Goins back. And Toronto has come back to win it 6-5. That is 6 consecutive wins for the Blue Jays. They've won 11 of their last 13. And they're enjoying a big road trip with a 6-1 record. Final score, Blue Jays 6, Astros 5.